And welcome back to another Forgotten Orb 2 video. As promised, I wanted to show you my version of the Battle of Zingling that I played in the Combat Mission series, which I made for Forgotten Orb 2. Well, not so much made, because it isn't finished. Also, just to be clear, this is not slated for release or even planned. This is not even the beta, actually. This is something that I worked on pre-2.46. before I started working on Omaha Beach, which was then released in 2.46, and after that, of course, the Eastern Front came. So this never got finished, and by now I actually learned more about mapping, and it's actually kind of bad from my modern perspective. Well, not bad, but I could do better now. But yeah, just from the overview, you should recognize the actual village from the Combat Mission battle. And what I will do, I will spawn here where also the American team starts in the Combat Mission scenario, and just walk through here, taking the same route that I took in the scenario, so that will be fun. Of course, in the scenario I never got to this part, so that we will do from the German perspective. Okay, let's look at it then. So yeah. Well, these trucks are kind of historically inaccurate because I couldn't drive in real life because of the mud. But yeah, I've got a bunch of different Sherman tanks here. Now, I don't have a Jumbo because it's not mentioned in the sources. What is mentioned though, which is missing from the Combat Mission one, is this here, 105mm howitzer version of the Sherman tank. So I'm a bit more accurate in this case. So yeah, I did go for a muddy look, and it should look like, you know, the Americans needed to deal with the mud a bit, pick up kits. Okay, so let's advance. I will do it on foot because I think that way you can see it a bit better. We're advancing up to the town, and there you can see the first buildings on the outskirts where in the battle my infantry dismounted. This is where my my tanks bogged down. Of course that can't happen in Forgotten Orb 2. Sadly, I kind of would like an element like that. Okay, yeah, and from here I then advanced into the town, of course. Yeah. Again, this is also a 1-1 copy with all the elements in the right position. Of course the buildings are in 1-1 copies because I use the normal FH2 bulge buildings, and this corner is where the Jagdpanzer waited and then was knocked out, behind that little barn. I think it's about here where I got the first contact from Germans hiding in these buildings, and rifle-naded them. So yeah, this is the corner where the Jagdpanzer waited. Now, the church in my case is way bigger, because we don't have a church prop that looks similar to the real one, so I just used the generic Normandy church as a placeholder. And there's, you see the school building that in my case got completely destroyed. And then here, of course, the corner of death. Note that because of the limitations of the Combat Mission 3D engine, my roads are a bit more accurate, I believe, because I don't have to stay on a grid in this engine. So yeah, down there is where the Jagdpanzer and Panther lurked. And yeah, this is where my Sherman tank got blown up trying to get around here after the smoke dissipated. So yeah, this is the school flag. Generally speaking, the map has a very, very conservative layout, nothing fancy or inspired. School building. Also not light maps, everything's too bright. Now this is that first complex where I had to clear off the Germans. That took a while. And of course the Panther tried to take cover between these two buildings here and then got knocked out. Now the big complex, which is how far I got, well, this is where the Jumbo got, like somebody shot a Panzerfaust from this building and knocked out the Jumbo here. And this is the corner where the second Panther was and was then knocked out from that building. Let's capture this. And yeah, anyway, this is the big farming complex. I can't really see it on the minimap. Where most of the infantry action on this flank took place. I think you can see the huge shape, and this is where one of my tanks went through, and this is where one of them got blown up by a Panzerfaust. Yeah. Exactly, and didn't another one... Oh yeah, another one tried to flank around here, and then got blown up by the Panther over there. Which was in this position, I think. Yeah, it's pretty close to the combat mission and of course also the real life one. So before we switch to the German side, let's go a bit in the direction where my last platoon advanced. And there's actually a Panther rack in the same position that I also knocked out that one Panther. Because it was knocked out there in real life as well. Now in my version this part of the town has been completely destroyed by artillery, because I wanted to get a bit of variation in. And let's see, yeah, down here is where that Panther was knocked out in real life. There's actually photos of it as well. So okay, let's switch over to the German side and look from their perspective. We have the German team over here. Wait a second. Little trick. Okay, so that way you can skip the spawn time. And here we have the German team. Again, two Jagdpanzers, also we have the Vollmer version, and two normal Panthers. And they advanced from down here. That's also where the German reinforcements came from, see on the map. Yeah, the terrain is pretty open here. It's not like Normandy where you have all these hedges. It's more like Dukla Pass, for example, or Eppendorf or something like that. Pretty steep the hill here. That's why this village was so important, because it lies astride a ridge, and on top of a ridge, I should say, and on the flank of a major attack operation. So here we see the village. There's a church, just for orientation. and this is where I never really got during the battle. The Americans in real life neither. So here we have one of the Maginot Line bunkers, which extended into the road. Now, this is not really a Maginot Line bunker, I just put a generic one in there. But I think they did the same in the Combat Mission series, so I don't feel too bad about it. And over here is where the Panthers lurked at the end of the battle. And in real life, let's see if I can find it, there's a puck position here, which at the beginning of the battle took out a Sherman tank. Which didn't happen in my version. Yeah, over here. Another Maginot Line bunker. As you can see, they pointed in the wrong direction, because obviously they pointed in the German direction because they were French. Over here they had a puck gun, which hasn't spawned yet because I haven't captured this. 1 second, I will just capture that flag. So yeah, this map is not planned for release. I do remember, I think I actually provided it to Hitmaker, who's associated with the associated with the CMP guys. And there was a thought of maybe including it, but I think they just have too much on their plate to include another half-finished map like this, and I can't blame them for it. But that would probably be the only option to ever see it in action at this point. So okay, now the pack gun spawned. Yeah, generally I think if the map was played on a server, in the beginning at least, you would have the historical situation where the Germans get the western part of the town, the Americans the other one. So yeah, this pack gun was there in real life as well, and it knocked out this Sherman tank just as it drove into this orchard. You see the wreck there, I placed the historically accurate wreck. So yeah, that pack gun is also in the Combat Mission 1. So yeah, that's my version of Thingling. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a nice day.